And we're back with part 2. Last time we covered the first 4 characters, Ryu, Ken, Honda, and Chun-Li. And for our next batch, we're gonna start with Blanka. Of 4 characters, we're gonna start with Blanka, who eats his opponents. Isn't he supposed to be green? Why is he yellow and orange? I'm guessing it has to do with the color palette limitations. But Blanka should be green, man. Alright, that's one character down. So yeah, he eats his opponents. At this time, I'm basically still trying to make use of special moves whenever possible. There you go, eat his opponents. And it's one of the few grab moves in the game that doesn't deal a set amount of damage. It can actually deal less damage than a typical grab and throw, or it could deal way more damage. So yeah, anyways, we took care of Chun-Li. And now we're taking on Zangief. And you know, just because he's a bad guy does not mean he's a bad guy. Yeah, in all seriousness, Zangief's technically not a villain. Well, unless you take into account that he's part of Soviet Russia. But if you want to call that a villain, okay. I don't think the guy who made Tetris was evil, and yet he grew up and spent his entire life in communist Russia. Probably wish he was in the United States, to be honest. So I'm switching from his strong kick to his medium kick, because I cannot reach the bottom half of the car with Blanka's medium kick. Don't ask me why. So yeah, I really took care of... Ooh. Okay, I think I meant to press something else, but I accidentally allowed Blanka to charge him with electricity. Seriously, I have no idea how I did that. Yep. Absolute annihilation of Ryu. And I have no idea why I jumped down and eat his face. He just shakes me off super quickly. He did it like twice. Actually, I'm kind of wondering if you can actually break free from a grab in Street Fighter 2. I don't know. Because that's the only way I can explain how the CPU sometimes breaks free from my grabs when it's a grab and jab rather than a grab and throw. It's not the same thing as Smash Brothers, by the way. Some characters have a grab and throw, others have a grab and jab. So he has face. And I literally have to space myself out and anticipate his movements so I can absolutely rip the other Blanka a new one. Technically, the OG colors in Street Fighter 2 are the alternate costumes in Special Champion Edition. But you can select them by pressing start on the character select screen. yeah, I think forgot to mention this in the previous episode, but on a 6-button interface, X, Y, and Z are all punches, while A, B, C are all kicks. The buttons closer to the left, the leftmost buttons are, which are X and A, are the weak punch and kicks. Y's and B are the medium punches and kicks, and Z and C are the strong kicks. Punches and kicks. So yeah, I complete annihilation of Balrog, because Balrog is painstakingly a one-dimensional character. I'm not looking forward to fighting him, to be honest. But for what it's worth, at least we're doing really well in the bonus rounds. Timing it so I can corner him and finish him off. I will say the big problem with Blanka is when you don't have a sufficient enough mastery of the super confusing special moves that literally have you do crazy things like hold back for 2 seconds and then move forward and press and act one of the action buttons. So those special moves are literally how you how you close your distance between you and your opponent. And it's also how you force them to space out and approach you. Particularly the projectiles. And of course, some special moves are designed to punish aerials. Our final battle with Blanka versus Bison. We'll find out what Blanka is real soon, and just like that, we have mastered Blanka. Jimmy? Are you my long-lost son, Jimmy? Who are you? Why would I be your son? My name's Blanka. My son was lost in an airplane crash over Brazil when he was only a little boy. Wait, Blanka's stage is in Brazil. Wait, that anklet. I gave that to you on your birthday. Barbie! Jimmy! So yeah, Blanka's real name is Jimmy. And he's literally a feral child that grew up in Brazil, in the wilds of Brazil. That's why Brazil is his home stage. Well, his home stage is in Brazil. Anyways, I skipped the end credits, and here are the scores so far, and time to move on to the next character, Zangief. Again, to quote Wreck-It Ralph, just because they're playing as the bad guy does not mean we're the bad guy. Yeah, Zangief is not a bad guy. He technically is not a bad guy. The closest affiliation to him being a villain is that he's from the USSR and he represents the Soviet government. The Soviet Communist government. Otherwise, he's considered one of the main characters. So yeah, So Zangief is basically a giant meathead, though. Which means he may have a bit of a tough time hitting some of the shorter enemies, shorter opponents, with strange tech like Dhalsim. So yeah, also Zangief is another character who has a grab and jab. So yeah, I'm basically just using medium jabs to take care of this car. Zangief will, after breaking the top half of the car, will just whiff with his strong kick, so with me. And even if he didn't whiff, the animation for strong kicks takes way too long. So the medium kicks have to do the trick. And just like that, we've taken care of Hondo. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this game also has, similar to Mortal Kombat, this game also has some blood. Though it's very mild compared to Mortal Kombat. So, we defeat Blanka, who turns out to be a feral man. Not some weird creature from the Black Lagoon or something like that. But we were able to punish his aggression with plenty of health to spare, but Guile is definitely a defensive character. So what we need to do is get him to act so we can punish him for his actions. And I did that, took care of business on the right way. I mean, there is a reason why Guile was selected as an assist trophy in Smash Ultimate and not Chun-Li. Because Guile does not approach. If you try to approach him, though, he will punish you. So I have to switch to punches because Zangief's kicks go way too high. And again, the animation goes on for too long. Perfect, alright. And yeah, I caught him in a cycle and was able to dispatch him rather quickly. And I'm literally trying to buffer my moves so to manipulate her actions here. Sure did. A bit of trivia, though this isn't in the Special Champion Edition or earlier versions, there were rumors going on that suggest that there is like a super secret fire that you can unlock by achieving like a bunch of perfects leading up to the Bison fight and not using a single continue. Well, that was just an urban legend, but it would come into reality in a future version of Street Fighter 2, which I believe is Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. This hidden character, Akuma, aka a guest fighter in Tekken 7, and also played a major role in the plot of that game. Oddly enough. Whatever, I had to make some adjustments in the barrel challenge to make sure I got them all. So yeah, as per usual, I push Vega, force Vega to approach, and then I chase him down towards one of the corners, so I could just bully him until he has no health left. And now for the final couple battles, we head down to Thailand and begin our finale against Sagat. And that was painstakingly easy, even though I took some damage here. But hey, we got it perfect. And we haven't lost the stock yet. Final bout in Zangief's campaign, and it's in Bison. Zangief's story is about to end, so I'm probably gonna hold off on any further diatribes here, at least for the time being. And we took care of business. We're halfway done with this game. Comrade Zangief, you have made your country proud. I don't know how to do a Russian accent. And shown that our country's spirit can overcome all obstacles. Now it's time to celebrate in our appropriate fashion. I think that's supposed to be Gorbachev, who ruled the Soviet Union during Mr. Ex-President. You dance very well. Well, you know, it keeps me in shape. Yeah, plenty of stereotypes. Gorbachev was the president of the Soviet Union as it neared its collapse and eventual dissolution. In its place, we have Vladimir Putin. And now we are in a much worse spot than we were even back then. Gonna start with Guile, and actually, we don't fly anywhere. We stay right where we are to battle our doppelganger Blue. Bit of trivia, Guile was chosen to be the main protagonist of Street Fighter the movie. Probably because they may have taken Capcom may have taken some inspiration from Jean-Claude Van Damme, who would be cast in the role of Guile in the movie. At least that's just a theory. So yeah, because Guile can be pretty fast on the ground, but he loves to fight from a defensive side of things. So he could just outright punish the opponent. But now we have to fight out China. And we completely dispatched of Chun-Li, who was the protagonist of the sequel film, The Legend of Chun-Li. though it isn't as good or as memorable as the OG film. It's kind of funny that the West had actively went out of its way to avoid the faces of the Street Fighter franchise, Ryu and Ken. Like in the Street Fighter movie, Ryu is portrayed as like a kid, a very lean kid, martial arts kid, for some reason. When he should be big and when he should be a bit on the bulky side, though not Zangief levels of bulk. He, in another way, he should better closely resemble, say, Guile, and look more like a man. Honestly, I imagine that if this... Honestly, imagine doing a world traveling fighting tournament like this, where you have to travel the world to fight each region's champion. I wonder how the Soviet Russia would have taken it. To have some macho American fly down to their own turf to beat the crap out of their champion. Now, even though Guile is not seated alongside the rest of the main cast as Honda takes his place among the first batch of fighters, Guile is one of the main characters. He's like the fourth most important character in the series. The first being Ryu, second Ken, third is Chun-Li. And Guile's number 4. While Honda, Blanka, Zangief, and Dhalsim are all supporting characters in the greater Street Fighter lore. Or you know. And that's it. I don't know what else to say, man. Well, okay. After we battle and defeat Blanka, after I take care of business with Blanka, man, I will probably explain something else. Have you noticed that the first 8 opponents we face are always fought in a somewhat randomized order? I say somewhat randomized because the order is mostly based on who it is that you chose to select as your playable character. But the final 4 characters are always featured in the exact same order regardless of who you play. Well, this is because these 4 characters are the villains. They're the boss fighters, and Balrog is... And it's supposed to signify these final 4 opponents are all in alliance with one another. So let's break some barrels. And be wary because some of these barrels require dual hits. Or may require 2 hits to break. And they may not bounce directly into you. They may just go away from you when they hit the ground, so be careful. So yeah, you'll always fight Balrog, then the boss round, then Vega, then Sagat, and then finally I'm Bison, the head honcho. And honestly, you can tell who the villains are. It's very easy to tell who the villains are in this game. Who the main characters are, who the side characters are. The main characters all have serious epilogues, or at least quasi-serious. Whereas the supporting characters all have joke endings. They either have joke endings, or the endings are super cheesy. And then the villains, because they all have bad endings. This is how you know that Zangief isn't really a bad guy, even though he represents Soviet Russia. That would be Balrog, Vega, Sagat, and then Bison. And we've mastered Guile. Hey Bison, remember me? Remember me and Charlie? I remember, Guile. You're not the rut you were then. Go ahead, get it over with. Honey, stop! Jane? Please, dear, let him go. Destroying Bison won't bring Charlie back. Please come home. Let's start over. But I deserted you. Please, Daddy, Mommy and I still love you. Alright, this is Amy. Is that my little Amy? And I just type in his name. Yeah, this is a little cheesy ending, but this is actually one of the more serious endings. And that's kind of how you know that Guile's one of the main characters. And I wouldn't be surprised if this ending in particular was what ultimately made the filmmaking crew come to the decision to actually have Guile be the main character in the movie. As though it's either him or Chun-Li. It makes perfect sense, but last of the supporting cast is Dhalsim. I don't know Indian. And what's interesting is that Dhalsim will literally fight all the characters in roster order, and then the boss characters in order. So he starts with Ryu, then goes to Honda. Chun-Li, no, not Chun-Li, then it goes to Honda, then Blanka, Guile, Ken, Chun-Li, etc. Now, Dhalsim has very strange hitboxes because his punches and kicks like to stretch across the arena, so I have to be careful when using them, using his attacks. For what's... For what it's worth, at least I'm able to get the job done here. So, yeah. So I have to think outside the hat, especially since Dhalsim, to make up for his disjointed hitboxes, does the least amount of damage of any character in the game with his attacks. I think even his grab and throw deals less damage than most characters' grab and throws. On the bright side, because he's kicking with his knee straight up, I can still damage the lower half of this car with his kick. But note that his kick does not have any further disjoints. It's all horizontal. Not all horizontal, all vertical, not horizontal. So keep that in mind in the next bonus round. Alright, yeah, we took care of business. So, what's the main difference in terms of difficulty besides the fact that the opponents can read your inputs on the highest difficulty setting? Well, another difference is that you deal less damage but take more in return. Meaning every fight is literally a battle of attrition where you have to try to sneak in some hits before the opponent can retaliate. And actually punish them for acting on you. And now it's Chun-Li, and then after that will be Zangief, then Copycat Dhalsim, then Balrog, Vega, Saga, and Bison. So I don't have any references or quotes to reference in or tie in with Dhalsim here, because Dhalsim, in the grand scheme of things, is an especially minor character in the Street Fighter universe. Like, I don't think you can figure out what exactly his story is unless you read the manual. Which I haven't. Because I don't own this game. And yes, sometimes I'm just needlessly jumping because I'm trying to buffer my next throw in order to go for the kill. Yeah, but so far, for what it's worth, yeah, the fights are taking a little long because Dhalsim has really weak hit damage output, but hey, I'm getting better at this game, so it's not that big a deal. Sometimes if you don't want to bother chasing down your opponent, it's best to just let them come to you. On their own terms. And now we fight the first of 4 boss villain characters in Balrog. Who is loosely based off of Mike Tyson, and like Mike Tyson, is a boxer, which means all he has for attacks are punches. As well as a grab and headbutt. As well as a grab and jab brought about by her headbutt. In the sport of boxing, you're not really allowed to kick. So it makes sense why he's more apt and trained in kick and punching rather than kick and not having any kicking attacks. Which is like a Sagat is a kickboxer, and yet he still has punches. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. By the way, Dhalsim can close the distance against Vega very easily, so that's another perfect in the books. And you might recall that, yes, this is a part 2 of my perfect playthrough of Street Fighter 2. As a reminder, Street Fighter 2 for the So this was originally planned to be a single episode, just one video, like the other 11 games of Christmas. Yes, the 12th and final game of Christmas is gonna be a one-parter. And honestly, not just the overall length of filming of this playthrough itself, but even how long it took for me to finish filming this playthrough was also what ultimately made me decide that I have to split this into multiple episodes. So now the final battle against M. Bison, and once we beat him, we'll be eight characters down with 4 more to go. Just like that, so I'm gonna split this up into one more episode, just for pacing's sake. And that's it for Dhalsim. 8 out of 8. I can finally go home to my family. I've been gone so long. Three years later. And maybe, Dad, what's that picture? That's your dad in his past life. Is that supposed to be a weird pun? Oh, what the heck. This is the end of part 2. Stay tuned for tomorrow because there's one more episode left to cover before we bring our 11th game of Christmas to a close. See you then.